Hi,
And just
hi,
give
hi,
enough time
hi.
for everybody to get in. We're 5 minutes in, so we're going to get started. How's your
Absolutely.
morning, afternoon, this morning?
It is busy. It is busy, but it's good busy. Everybody is pushing on, trying to get their objectives and priorities met before Thanksgiving. So I think everybody's on that same train of trying to get things done, trying to move things along so that they can enjoy a nice break at Thanksgiving and Christmas as we go deeper into December.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't believe Thanksgiving is next week.
I
It's
know.
literally next week. And then we're planning and we're shopping. And I feel like this is a time where people are really stressed out as far as like, trying to plan for everything. We only have a few weeks left, and especially for business people, right? If you haven't done everything that you plan to do this year, you're like, trying to check off your list and get ready for quarter one, close out quarter four.
Yeah.
So should we get into it? Should we get
Yeah,
into
absolutely.
you? So
People are
yes.
steamrolling, Brenda, steamrolling for Thanksgiving, steamrolling for end of quarter four, try to get all their work done. And if you add on any kind of extra duty onto that, like kids, a pet, a vet visit, a hospital, an emergency, that snowballs. And Thanksgiving is a really special celebration in America. We don't have it in Ireland, which is really interesting for us. It's a
Oh,
gorgeous celebration. We enjoy it a lot
okay.
now that we're living here. So I find it really joyful. But that said, if you have kids and they're off school for a week and you still have to work, all of these stressors start to come into
Add
light
up.
and come into play.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get into your CIA framework, which is amazing. I went through it and I'm like, we really need this right now to help us like bring center ourselves. It's like center ourselves into reality. But first, tell us a little bit about you. And you are an executive coach, how you got started,
Yeah.
and what your objective is.
Okay, so Claire O'Connor, personal executive and leadership life coach, with a huge amount of experience in education, teamwork, sports, TV and media in Ireland. And but the most enjoyable part of it all for me is people and learning new skills to live your best life. Now, that sounds kind of cheesy to say live your best life, because what does that even mean for people? And at times like Thanksgiving, life can be more stressful than enjoyable. So I got into coaching by accident myself. I was a well-being facilitator. I was an educator in Ireland. And honestly, a couple of different sad things happened to me, losing, having a miscarriage was one of them. And
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't need therapy.
Mhm.
I didn't need therapy. It was so sad for me, but I didn't need therapy. I needed a future focus. I needed to be able to plan for a tragedy or an emotionally triggered time or a traumatic event, or I needed to move on essentially. And
Mhm.
I found that accidentally through coaching. And I was so inspired by the impact it had on me as somebody who's capable and used to moving on with life and trying new things and being zestful. I thought, wow, if everybody in the world had these skill sets and tools that I've learned through coaching, people would have an easier life at a younger age. And I only
Mhm.
started in my 30s. So a lot of the things are based in positive psychology, Brenda, for coaching. And this model I'm about to share with you today is so simple. The power is in the simplicity. And what I'll say to your audience and people listening is, it doesn't need to be complicated. We are not masking up and putting on a performance for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a wonderful time just to celebrate you and your family over food. There's no presents, there's no expectations. And the less expectation you put on yourself, the easier it is to navigate that time.
I love that. Like, let's expectations. And I feel like that's where most of it comes from. You want to make sure, because especially if you're gathering a family you haven't seen in a while, it's like you want to, there's an expectation that it's like, okay, I got to put on my best self and I have to make sure that this is in order and that's in order. What am I cooking? What am I bringing? Like, this family member is going to be there. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
that one or those couple of family members, or you could be like, this is amazing. I love my family. I miss them all. I can't wait to see everybody. This is overwhelming with excitement. I can't wait. So,
Yeah.
it could go a couple of different ways.
It
Yeah.
could, but it's usually the duty
Yeah.
to prepare, the duty to have everything ready for your guests if they're all coming to your home. But
Mhm.
the first step, before I even use this tool, I would suggest to people who are having people into their home, who are hosting, to see it from the other's perspective. People are traveling to see you. are just happy to be with you. They
Yeah.
don't have a list of expectations. Do I have the double bed? Am I provided with this drink, that drink, and the other drink? Will my dinner include? They are just there to spend time. And genuinely, if you're able to look at it from the other person's perspective first, they're coming to join us. They don't want to impose, they just want to share time with family, because that's what Thanksgiving is all about. And if we can
Mhm.
start from that place, it kind of alleviates a layer of that pressure onion that we hold on ourselves. It's our own expectations and our own standards. And so that's step one, is looking at it from a different perspective. It could be a partner's perspective, your children's perspective, or the visitor's perspective, because yours perspective has the highest standards, has the biggest to-do list, and the most pressure is applied from within. And the positive psychology of that is, we're here to have a good time. Let's not have too many expectations. And if you relate and communicate that to your guests, guys, we're here to have a good time. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to help yourself. It kind of takes that duty and responsibility off. And then the CIA tool comes in, and everybody knows the CIA. It's very, very easy to remember, the acronym CIA, but in a different perspective in positive coaching. And that is, the C of CIA stands for control. What can I control coming up to Thanksgiving? I can control how organized I am. I can control dedicating time to what I want to achieve over the holidays. I can actually control what food I put on the table. I can actually control my house and my house being in order. And I can control my own perspective, my own
Mhm.
reaction, and my own ability to see this occasion as what it is, a reflection time, a time of gratitude, simply put, a time to spend time with family and just sit with that. Can we control other people coming into our home? No. We can only, well, we can control how many we accept, but
Yeah.
we can't control people's humor, or if somebody else is bringing their negative baggage into the house. We can't actually control that. And we need to be really aware that that's somebody else's backpack. It's not ours. And as women, genuinely, we are empaths. We tend to take on other women's energy. And this
Yeah.
is a major, major boundary and hurdle for us to overcome as women, is to take on other people's load. Um, we say a problem shared is a problem halved. Yes, because we usually take on half. So we need to be really mindful that when somebody comes into our home at Thanksgiving and they offload, that you're able to go,
Mhm.
metaphorically put that in a rubbish bag and throw it into your garbage can. It's not actually yours to own. You can control that. This is not today. This is not for me today. And what else can we control? We can control how much food is on the table. We can control how late we want to stay up. We can control how many drinks we want to have and how deep we want to go into a conversation, maybe a difficult family conversation. That's where boundaries come in. I'm not ready to go any deeper on this conversation. I'm not ready to stay up past midnight because we all have to go on a hike tomorrow. I have X amount of time to dedicate preparing to take care of family. So we can make those decisions. They are within our control. Then we move to the I. So if it's not in your control, like somebody else's issues or somebody else's life drama or difficult time, we can't control it. But the I stands for influence. How can I influence this situation? Well, you can't control the environment or the mood, but you can influence it. Are there environmental um, things that you can use to enhance the lively humor of your home? Are there environmental factors that you can influence in the office? Can you bring fun? That's a decision. You can choose to do that. You may not control the outcome or how people react to it, but a soft jingle in the background can never do any harm. And that is very superficial when I say influence. If your daughter or your son or somebody comes to you proclaiming their devastation at a grade, a falling out with a friend, you can't control them or their reactions, but you can have influence by sitting with them, by dedicating time, and then by packing up that that bag and putting it into the garbage can as well. We can influence the mood of our home. We can influence the expectations of others. We don't want to control others. We cannot control others. We can see things from their perspective, and we can influence by asking questions, asking nicely, asking for help. And women, especially, suffer this, Brenda. We are very slow to ask for help. What does ask for help
Yeah.
actually look like? So, if you ask somebody for help, Brenda, what might it look like?
Okay, asking for help is you hit like a trigger point. Like as women, right? We want to take on everything. We're like, I got it, I got it, I got it, I got it. I don't need. You don't ask for help until you're really about to need help. So asking for help, wow, I don't even know what that would look like. But in terms of like Thanksgiving, saying, I'm planning this out. Plans really help. So if you plan things out, you understand where you have like shortfalls and where you might need assistance with, decorating, where you need help with preparing the food, where you need help with silverware, where you need help with, coordinating where everybody's supposed to go, what kind of drinks we're going to have, delegating, so
Absolutely. That is
delegating, right?
that is perfect. We are not good as women. We think we have, and again, I go back to the expectation of ourselves. We are not in control of everything. We set our own standards, and sometimes we have to helicopter and look at ourselves. How can we get help here? Banging a pan or giving somebody a cross face, like that's not going to help. In fact, that's the negative influence you can have when you're not asking for help. So asking for help looks like delegating with politeness, with gratitude. Now, it is Thanksgiving after all. I'd really appreciate it, 13-year-old son, if you could take the laundry and hang it up for me. It would save me so much time. We'll get the dinner on the table more quickly. Can I give you the responsibility? Oh, yeah, so you can suggest to maybe a brother or a sister in law. Um, Angela, I know you're fantastic at understanding when people's drinks are out. Could you take that job off my hands just from 1 to 3 while we're sitting with our meal? Give people specific tasks and delegations, but always asking politely. And you're still sitting in influence there, Brenda. So you can't control everything. You can't serve dinner and drinks and be the best host and have conversation. It is not physically, mentally, or emotionally possible for any human being to be all things to all people all the time. And people are easygoing. Like I said, reflect back. People are coming into your home to spend time for Thanksgiving, not to be served like a queen. People understand that, life is busy once it's communicated. I would love your help. The influence there is people love to help. Collaboration is one of the things we love as human beings, that connection that, we enjoy giving gifts more than we do receiving them. I mean, I'd love to ask you, Brenda, when's the last time you gave a gift to somebody? Can you remember clearly?
Oh yeah, like yesterday, like when you go out to eat and you're like, I got it. I do it all the time, and
Yeah.
I hear you. Like it's very cathartic. Is that the word? It's
Mm,
very like fulfilling. I do enjoy giving more than receive. When you receive, it's like no, no, no. Like I don't know. That's how I am anyway.
yeah.
I'm like I don't need it. I don't need it. But to give, it does feel a lot better. But yes, absolutely. How about you?
And oh yeah, like I love to give, and I love when people show appreciation then for something that I've given. I don't need a big thank you, but for someone to say, thanks a million, I appreciated that. That just adds even more. So when you can give value to somebody else, so there, back to my point. If you can ask for help, people want to be connected. People want to give, just like you and me, Brenda. So when we give, the communication, the community of people that are together are collaborating. That collaboration is called group intelligence, and we love to work in groups. To be human is to be relational. It doesn't matter if it was 1,000 years ago or 1,000 years into the future. We want to have relationships. We want to help each other. It's in our nature. And that's influence. And you can have a big influence on any occasion, but there are certain things like planning, delegation, asking for help, being honest. I am under pressure here. Can somebody give me a hand with this, that, or the other? So, especially if you come from a big family, Brenda, which I do, with 5 siblings, and we grew up in a house of 10 people, and it was busy. And that sense of collaboration. And the Harvard study shows that young children, they followed kids for 30 years. Those people who collaborated and helped in the home were the happiest people 30 years later. So, don't feel bad for delegating. Everybody is helping. Everybody wants to contribute. So that's the C for control, the I for influence. And the last thing is accept. So if you can't control it, if you can't influence it, there are some things that we just have to accept as the host, the mother, the partner. the leader in the company, the leader in the home. Some things are out of our control and we cannot influence. And we just have to accept. So, what does that look like to a normal human being, or, specifically here to us, mothers, women who have maybe a great career and are now hosting this big Thanksgiving gig? Sometimes we have to accept that we cannot be the host this year, that we cannot offer this to our family, that it is outside our capability to dedicate 2 days to planning and preparation. And that's just an acceptance. It's just not me this time. I can't do it. But for a highly successful, high achieving woman, she will almost persevere through that. I know I don't accept it. I'm going to persevere. And the caution here is sometimes the women that are in our lives, including me and you, I'm guessing, Brenda, is we persevere anyway. We use that strength, but we push through at a time when we should just know enough is enough. I'm going to go over the edge here. I just have to accept that the 15 desserts are not going to happen. It's going to be three. That the turkey is slightly undercooked, but we can work around that. We can just take an hour longer before dinner. It's not at the perfect time. Or, I only have 2 days to dedicate to family. I have got to get back. I have deadlines to meet, if that's truly what you must accept. And that acceptance is a huge weight lift off of so many women's shoulders. I can't get to this thing. And one more powerful word that I would add on when you're trying to accept something that you don't particularly want to accept is, I can't do it yet. I haven't managed it yet. So for me, I haven't managed to prepare our Thanksgiving plans yet. I have a rough outline, but I haven't done it yet. Do you hear what permission I have just given myself? So it's just an acceptance of, I wanted to do it today, but I just don't have time until Saturday, Sunday, the weekend. And sometimes we just have to accept that we can't get the 20 things done in the day, in the week. Um, and then, as a final add on to that, Brenda, I will say that there's often a list. There's often a stressor about the to do list for Thanksgiving and for Christmas and everything in between. And, we often had a lovely list of nice things we would like to do, but they are not actually our priorities. And I always encourage my clients to set 3 priorities, not a 10-part to do list. It gets way more specific, way more quickly. You get laser focused. It's a mono task, one, two, three, and put the hardest thing first. Why do I say that? Because when you wake up in the morning and you're full of energy, you've done your workout or whatever, and you've allocated X amount of time to a job you don't want to do, it's called eating the frog. Eat the frog. And if you've ever heard that term before, I don't know anybody in the world who likes to eat frogs apart from traditionally the French people, and I don't even know if they like it. But anyway, what I say about that, why I say eat the frog is it's getting the one task that you have the most resistance to done first. What's the trigger there? Psychologically, I've done the hardest task. I can do anything now. Or I've done the one priority that I really needed to get done, and then you're motivated for more. If you are not that person who likes to do that eat the frog thing first thing in the morning, whether it's putting on, the veg or preparing something for Thanksgiving, the other option is to have one tiny thing at number one on the list of priorities that can be done in minutes. That gives you that trigger of, oh, I got the task done. That was easy. Next. And that's you're trying to use your brain and reverse all those 80,000 thoughts you have. A lot of them are negative, as we know, 75% of them, and 95 are repetitive. So what you're trying to do is retrain your mind to bring order to your thoughts. What can I control? What can I influence? What do I have to accept? What are my 3 priorities? Because humans like to work in threes. I don't know what it is, but 3 things is enough. Get step 1 done, the hardest task. I'm eating the frog here. If I can get that done, I can get anything done. So, what would have been your eat the frog today, Brenda, for example, just to give people a taster of what that looks like?
Eating the frog. So, I want to make sure I understand the eating the frog concept. It's like once you get over that hurdle, kind of, right? Then you can do anything.
Once you take
Um,
on the hardest task first, the
the
hardest
hardest
task comes
task
first, which
first.
is the eat the frog moment. Oh, I have to do
Mm-hmm.
this, just do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I have like super hard tasks today. Today was a very good day.
Mm.
The hardest thing I say, it's not, it wasn't hard. It's just, my guinea pigs, they, getting through cleaning their cage in 15 minutes. I just set a record for myself because I had to get on this live. So I was like, you know what? Let's see how fast I can go because their cage needs to get cleaned. I don't want to wait. I guess
Well,
that's my eat the frog
it,
moment. The
it
day's still
was.
early.
And it doesn't matter how difficult or easy it is. It's you need to get it done. It needs to get
Yeah.
done for the day to move on. And
Hmm.
that is just those few little add-ons to the CIA. So let's recap. CIA control. What can you control over Thanksgiving? What's within your control? Where are your expectations? Helicopter yourself. Observe how you will interact with everyone over Thanksgiving. Where do you sit with those expectations? Are they really high? Are they standard, or is it an area you need to work on? And EI for influence. How can I influence the situation that I'm in, be it Thanksgiving, be it Christmas, be it everything in between, the fact that my kids are off school and I'm trying to manage all these things? How can I influence that? How can I delegate? What can I do to ask for help? And then the A, then the last part of that puzzle is accept. What do I have to accept about the upcoming holidays? Maybe there's a relationship with a little bit of friction. I'll just accept it, go with the flow, and see where it takes me. And that to do list, three priorities, not 10. And eat the frog is that number one thing. And if that's really triggering for you to try and achieve that number one thing first, add in something easy in position number one and eat the frog in position number two.
That's awesome. I appreciate it, Claire. I was, as you were doing that, I was trying to see if there's any comments, if anybody had any questions here in the chat. I don't see any questions or comments. I'll give it a minute. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns for Claire, we have like another minute or two to go over that. But while you guys are warming up to do that, I just wanted to share a couple of the questions that you had as part of the CIA framework, if that's okay. You send me like some powerful questions that you could ask when you're trying to figure out. It's very catchy, the CIA. It's
Yeah,
very it's
very
very very
catchy.
catchy. So control, like, asking yourself maybe at the beginning of the day, because for me, I get very panicked. Like if I feel like things are not, like as women do, especially when you're high achieving and you're like always trying to top yourself, you're
Hmm.
always in competition with yourself.
Hmm.
Yes, you want to impress people, but also like, how can I make things 100% perfect? Just speaking from my own experience as a PTA president, like it gets very crazy in my head. I'm so like,
Yeah.
I need to get things done in a certain way, and all the pieces of the puzzle need to fall into place. Like the train, everybody needs to do what they're supposed to do, and that's where your framework is really important because you
Mhm.
can't control everything. You can't control anyone.
No, there
You
are
can
elements you can
place.
control. And what are the elements you can't control? You are always
Uh-huh.
in control of how you navigate the world. You are always in control of how you choose to react to people, or
Absolutely.
let's say something you don't agree with. That's
Hmm.
oftentimes where we really have to lean in and say, okay, can I look at this from a different perspective? What can I learn from this? And I
Mm.
always think of, high achieving women who aspire great aspirations and compete with themselves all the time.
Yeah.
We really struggle with the word fail. Fail is a hard
Yeah.
word for us to manage.
Oof.
And, to reframe that, it sounds more like this: fail, using the acronym FAIL, FAIL, just like the CIA. F is for first attempt in learning. And this was
Mm.
hugely helpful for me. What did I learn from my first attempt in learning? It might be a mistake. It might have just been an experience that just did not work, but that doesn't sit easily with women who are used to getting things done and getting it out there and moving things on. So the biggest question to always ask is, if it feels in your gut like it was a failed operation, on your
Mm.
daily list, what did you learn? How can you edit for the
Mm.
next time for your second effort at going through a particular experience, whether it's Thanksgiving, being a president, being a leader, a manager, whatever it is your role is in professionally and personally, but most importantly, and I really emphasize this for women in the world who are managing a professional job, who are looking after family life, still over 70% of women looking after family life. The other part of that Venn diagram is self. How are you taking care of self? What are you in control of? What can you influence about yourself? What do you have to accept? But taking care of self means that the world gets the best of you rather than what's left of you when you've worn yourself out trying
That's
to
a good
care
way
of
to
all
put
those
it.
things. Yeah. Give the world the best of you rather than what's left of you. And believe me, Brenda, you and me probably both learned the hard way.
Yeah, I am sure because we want to try to push things. So, okay, just a couple questions. We're at time, but just a couple questions you shared with us. Control, the part of the CIA framework. What elements are? Just ask yourself, what elements are you control of? What are you not in control of? Let's get that clear. Influence.
Hmm.
What can you influence? You can't change somebody, but you can influence the mood. You can influence a lot of different things. And then accept. What do you just have to accept? What goes exactly as planned and you're like awesome, and then what kind of like doesn't quite. And then you're
Absolutely.
like, I'm gonna accept this and I'm gonna take it, and then I'm gonna influence. You
Where
can
I
go
can.
back up, right? Influence what I can. So this was awesome, Claire. I'm looking in the chat. I don't see any questions, but I will drop the link to your website here.
Thank you. And
Claire.
for women, I think, we don't give ourselves a break, Brenda, while you're doing that.
Mhm.
Thanksgiving is a time to take a break. If that looks like
Yeah, disconnect.
15 minutes of your time, there's 1,440 minutes in a day. 15 minutes is 1% of that day. Do you have 15 minutes for yourself? Even if it's 15 minutes to decide in the morning, I'm choosing that today is going to be a good day. What are my three priorities? What can I control? What do I have influence over? And what do I just have to accept? If there's a crisis and I have to go to the emergency room with somebody, that's something you just have to accept. So
Right.
I hope all the ladies out there can be mindful of themselves and that self part of your Venn diagram of life.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you, Claire. I just put your website in the chat. You can find more about Claire O'Connor here with the brightlifecoaching.com. Check her out. Do you have a few seconds to plug your coaching program or?
Absolutely. I'd love to
Okay.
plug it. So I obviously do corporate group coaching. I do one-to-one coaching, but the one that I really, really love and I find absolute huge benefits for women is my 12-week group coaching program called Zenith Back to Brilliance. It's an intensive 12-week group coaching program. I just began a new one yesterday where women go from burnout to brilliance, just returning to
Mm,
their best selves, seeing their true potential, doing specific evaluations on personalities and all of the things that make us see ourselves and our true potential to navigate the world as best we can.
that's awesome. 12-week coaching program. That is transformative.
Absolutely.
I am in awe. I'm in awe of everything that you can do here. This conversation was so warming. I feel so fulfilled from it. Thank you so much for speaking with me, Claire. I actually have, as a personal stylist, entrepreneur, best-selling author, all the things I do, style related. I am actually sharing a free for the next 24 hours only holiday style guide on five must-haves that you should already have in your closet. If you don't, the links are in there to shop on what to wear for the holidays, what to wear for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. There's style boards in there. There's at least 10 different outfit recommendations for women. Plus size is included, tall are included, petite. I try to include everything for the everyday woman, whether you're fashion forward, whether you're conservative. There is something that I will put in the link right now on, let's see, I'm trying to put it in here. Okay,
Well,
on how to
Brenda,
get your,
I'll
yeah.
I'll be downloading that for sure. And you know what? You can pop I'll pop the CIA link in under the comments on your page on LinkedIn, and people can take the CIA model from there too.
Sounds good. So I will do both of such. You can download it for the code holiday 24 to download for free. It's actually
Okay.
$27, but as a viewer of mine and Claire's, show today, you can actually download it for 100% free with code holiday 24. So catch Claire CIA framework, my holiday closet edits. Thank you everyone for coming out and joining us. Any last words, Claire? We're all set.
Nope, just best of luck to all the ladies out there. Make sure to have fun yourselves as well as providing fun for everybody else. And happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you so
Happy
much.
holidays.
Okay. Bye bye.